Mungu atukuzwe. May God be praised. Well, it's surely a delight to be back with you again this morning. It doesn't seem that long ago since I was sitting up there with Pastor Lloyd, and now another 3 years has passed, and here I am again. I'm just really so happy to be here, and as I begin, I want to bring you greetings from your brothers and sisters in Christ from Kenya, and I think you probably by now know the routine. Will you receive those greetings? Good. You're fast learners. Okay, and would you like for me to send greetings back? All right, so that obligation is fulfilled. Whenever I travel, I have to do this because they expect me to bring greetings to you. Well, I have been in Kenya actually for 20 years, and I've been in Africa for 30 years, and so I'm celebrating God's faithfulness. Because if it were not for him, I wouldn't be there. And there are so many things I could go into many, many details about how it all happened. My personality being shy, not being so good at languages, and knowing that I would need to study another language and not so sure that I would be able to do that. When I was 9 years old, I was at Orland CYC camp, and I think you know that camp. And back in those days, we had autograph books. Now, today the kids would probably exchange email addresses and get Facebook names and all, send requests and stuff like that today. But in those days, we had little books that we took around to all of our friends, and they wrote in our autograph book. And in my autograph book, my counselor wrote, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths." I decided at 9 years old that I would make that my life verse. And from time to time, I think about changing my verse, and I might even actually do it. But then I always come back to that verse. It's my life verse. In Kenya, they typically, when they become Christians, they pick a life verse. I didn't know that when I was 9. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. My own understanding would have been that I would have been a grade 3 teacher in Ontario somewhere. That's what my own understanding told me. But sometimes our understanding, let's change that. All the time, God's understanding is greater than our understanding. He knows. And so when God calls us to do anything, we need to trust in him. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Sometimes he asks us to do things that would apparently be ridiculous. Maybe even, this is Thanksgiving tomorrow, officially. If we trust in our own understanding, we often lose opportunities to demonstrate or to show our thankfulness to God, because we just live in the ordinary. God has so many wonderful plans for us. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. In all your ways acknowledge him. That means to follow him, and he will lead you. I am proof of that. Well, I am celebrating God's faithfulness. 20 years as a missionary in Kenya, 30 years in Africa, and when I first started, I wasn't supposed to even be going. I was diagnosed when I was quite young with early kidney disease. And when I was referred to a nephrologist, and he said, "Well, I'll give you 5 years and you'll be on dialysis." I've stopped seeing the nephrologist. They told me it's a waste of time going to see them. Nothing's changing. My kidneys are working fine. trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Well, I would like to show you what God is doing in Kenya. I can get this on. There it goes. Okay. In 2011, my family returned to Kenya with me, and so one of the things that they did was make benches for our church. It's not working. Sorry? There we go. My sister is a grade 3 teacher in Ajax, Ontario, and they have a program in their school called Me to We. And so they wanted to it's a program to help kids to get beyond themselves. And so all of the classes collected school supplies, and we carried them back to Kenya with us to distribute at the school, Mautuma. Whoops, now it's going double fast. One of the activities, they sang and they had stories. One of the activities was games, and these girls are playing pool noodle hockey, which they really like, hitting a beach ball with a pool noodle. You should have heard them. It's jumping. I think I can see this one better. I think you recognize some of these other pictures of, there we go. This is what I wanted to do. Okay. Another reason, or the main reason that my family went was to dedicate the Shekinah room. It was my dad's 85th birthday in 2011, and my family, not knowing what to get him for Christmas, decided that they would give contributions towards finishing the Shekinah room. The Shekinah room is a room that we will use for prayer, or are using for prayer. And Shekinah was when God so filled the temple at the time of the dedication, when Solomon was dedicating it, that the people couldn't go in. So we want the Shekinah room to be a place where people can come to pray and they know that God is there. So we dedicated the room in honor of my parents, and 10 of my family members were with me. It was a great occasion. Well, I think this is Cindy. Is she here? There she is. Okay, welcome to Kenya. That was one of the first things that we did, was to go to the giraffe center. And she wasn't as brave as some people. Did you kiss? You can actually, you put a pellet in your mouth, and you let the I was going to say elephant, let the giraffe take the pellet from your mouth. So anyway, she wasn't that brave. The men built a perimeter wall, or at least the start of one. Let me just run through these quickly. And the women painted the one of the classrooms, and it is a beautiful job. We're enjoying it very much. And the men were building what we call a cho, or an outside toilets at where we have our conference. And they've been very helpful. And then the women, while the men were building the toilets, the women were having a seminar with the women. And then Chuck was our preacher on Sunday morning. And that was a really wonderful sermon and a message that God used from Chuck while on the Sunday morning service. Well, I have a big house, and God has given me this house, and I use it for seminars. This is a Sunday school class, Sunday school teachers class around my table in my dining room. I am pastor at one of the churches, at the church where the Bible school is, And every year we either have a men's seminar or a women's seminar. And this past year we had a women's seminar, and we invited Nettie Dingili, who is our bishop's wife, to come and teach the women on cooking and nutrition so that they can learn how to use various herbs and spices that are locally available. They get in on the act of cooking. So this is the classroom as I'm teaching, and this is my favorite place to hang out. We have sessions 3 times a year, 2 weeks each time, in the months of April, August, and December. Bible school graduation is a wonderful time, and the next graduation will be actually in April. One of my students is from Uganda, and I had the privilege of attending his ordination service in Uganda in January. And we have students, most of them are from Kenya. There's actually now a module that takes place in Uganda. This is David Mwebia. Shem Machayo is one of our Bible school teachers. He has a BA degree in Christian education, and he is one of our best teachers. We really enjoy having him around, and the students love him. We would like for him to be able to get his master's degree so that he will be qualified when we notch up our program to a diploma program. Springs of Hope College. Well, this was not in my original job description. I might have said no. I don't know if I would have, but I am not a builder, but I sure have learned a lot about building since we began this process. God is faithful. I am celebrating God's faithfulness because he's the one that has given me people to work with, and so that we can proceed. There. God has given us a beautiful piece of property. It's not very good for farmers. It's very rocky, but it's excellent for building. 3 1/3 acres. Call this plan in the sand. One of the times when we're discussing how things are going to be worked out, get out, sand around, we get out a long stick and we start making drawings. That's how it begins. This is the first of our buildings. This is the main, what we call the main building, and you are looking at where the classroom is on straight ahead, and then just kind of off in the corner is where the men's dorm is. Well, I say that lightly because the men sleep on mattresses on the floor, because if we were to put beds in, there wouldn't be room for people to sleep. I mean, just for the beds. And then to the side, we have a library. Small. It would be about half the size of this platform for our library. And we need more books. And then toilet facilities are on the right, and at that door on the right. We use it for storage right now. We don't have water yet. When we have water, but we don't have any way to get it into the buildings yet. Let's put it that way. This is what we call the brick building. And the brick building is to make more room for students. We can use it for offices. There are 2 rooms on the bottom level. There will be 1 apartment on the upper level, and the upper level will be used probably for a teacher who would be coming with this family or her family. These are called ceiling waffles, or construction waffles, and I haven't come across anybody here in Canada who has seen them. I know that they are used in Europe. We just recently discovered them. You don't use as much cement, so the slab isn't as thick, but it serves like a, egg carton. So it's strong, and you don't use as much cement, so it is less costly than the conventional way of doing a ceiling. One of the big problems in Kenya is deforestation, So every time we have a Bible school session, at least during the rainy season, students plant trees. This is an important task for them to do. It also helps them to learn how to take care of the environment. This is a rocket stove, and rocket stoves use very small pieces of wood, and it has a very intense fire or heat. It's the same word in Swahili, fire and heat. And so so it cooks faster and uses less fuel. So we're trying to conserve energy and costs. On December the 8th, we had a very special day of dedicating the property and the building that had been completed. So Bishop Nixon Dingili is opening the gates, signifying that God's presence is welcome there, inviting him in to be a part of the campus. Then we moved down to the main building, where which I showed you. The building was complete, so we were able to have a special dedication for it on December the 8th as well. It's the way you hold your mouth. Celebrating God's faithfulness. I did not steal that, by the way. It was my idea for the cake, and it's my idea for now. So, celebrating God's faithfulness, well, you can't have the celebration without a cake. There. Bishop Dingili and Reverend Dan Sheffield came to share the day. He came to teach in the Bible school for a week and share with us on the day of dedication. Since the Canadian Church has really everything that's been done on the property, including buying the property, comes from Canada. There have been no funds raised anywhere else, and just to say thank you to you as a congregation, because I'm there because you have sent me and other contributions that you've made, sending work teams and so on. I don't go to other churches. I don't have a Baptist church, not that I am against Baptists or Pentecostal churches or independent churches. I don't have any other churches that I go to. I don't go any other country. The only place that I do, my home assignment is here in Canada. And so you are the people that I look towards for encouragement and support and financial assistance. And you know what? God is faithful. Well, I have a wish list. You know, when you're on Amazon or I don't know, I don't go to a lot of these sites on the internet, but if you're going to buy something on the internet, they have a shopping basket, you know, where you're going to purchase something and you're going to put it in the shopping basket. Or there's a place where you can save things. You know, maybe you got to think about it, you're going to buy it later, or you don't have the money for it and you're going to buy it later. So you put it on the wish list. Well, I have a wish list. Now you will notice that the first one is crossed off. And I'm going to be at that church again next week. I was already there in May, but one of our churches in Ontario has contributed or is contributing the funds towards finishing the water project. We have a drilled well that has the capacity to pump 20,000 liters an hour. Yeah. It is the driller said it's the most productive well he has ever drilled. He said it will never run dry. It has a hand pump on it. There's a sermon illustration in this. It has a hand pump. Imagine. And so this church in Ontario is going to contribute the funds to get an electric pump on it and to get the piping and a septic tank. So we're just praising God. That's why it's crossed off. Electricity. Well, the power company has said that we are going to get electricity any day now. That was in November, December last year, almost a year. But I am trusting God. He is faithful. We really do need electricity. God is faithful. And we know that his soon coming, the CEO of the electric company in Kenya has a house in the area where the church is. So it's coming. It's coming. Oops, sorry. It went off. Let's see. There we go. Okay. The brick building, as you notice, isn't finished. It needs to be finished. Primary school property. When we bought the property, we paid about $12,000 for all of the property that we have. Now that's how much it is for 1 acre, at least that much. So we would like to build a school, primary school. The closest school is about 5 kilometers away. Housing for staff. We don't really have adequate housing for anybody. The pastor is sleeping in the dormitory right now. And we have a caretaker who needs a place to stay. And we need to construct a church building. Right now we have it in a tin roofing a building made of tin roofing. That's it. Okay. And we would like to build a clinic, and then we will be able to use medical staff from the graduates that come from Hope Africa University in Burundi. There are a few mini projects, and I personally want to thank this church for the contribution that you made towards the books, and they are in our library. Okay? That was and I've been sharing with other people how you have done it here. Ordering them from christianbooks.com is a wonderful way of doing it. Sending books to us without someone having to manually carry them or physically carry them. School equipment. Maps. Oh, they all came up at once. Filing cabinet. Don't ship a filing cabinet to us. I don't know what kind of shape it'd be in by the time we got there. Globe, that's been taken care of. I need to take it off. A caretaker stipend. Caretaker needs to get something every month. He's the watchman. He's the one who looks after visitors when they come. He's the one who is the maintenance person, cuts the grass, makes sure everything's working as it should. And to sponsor Bible school sessions, one session costs about $1,200. We almost canceled the last one. We were short significantly, and some funds came in just in the nick of time, and I was able to send it off so they could actually conduct the Bible school session. Well, these are my contacts. Some of you do email me, and this is my web page. It's a little behind right now. Hopefully one of these days I'll be able to sit down and write something. God is faithful. And on this Thanksgiving I could take all afternoon talking about how God is faithful. And if I gave you a chance to talk about how God has been faithful to you, can we go all afternoon? No, I have a commit this afternoon. Actually, my family is getting together for Thanksgiving, so. I have a couple of prayer requests. One is for the church in Kenya. They're coming up to elections in November for superintendents, and the bishop will be elected or re-elected next year in 2015. Would you please pray for the church in Kenya and church politics? It's a little bit of a stressful time. This is the first time I've been home for Thanksgiving in I don't know how many years, many years. And I'm supposed to go to Kenya. I'm supposed to go to Kenya in 2 weeks. I am postponing my return to Kenya. Many of you have been asking when I'm going back. I'm hoping that I can go back in April or May next year. My sister, Marilyn, and some of you would know her, recently a mass was discovered on her pancreas. She's had several tests. It's inconclusive as to whether it's pancreatic cancer or not. She is to have a CAT scan. She's waiting for that to be scheduled, and she's to have surgery the beginning of November to try and remove it. And at that time, for sure, they'll be able to determine if it's cancerous or not. And so for this reason, I am delaying my return to Kenya. This is was a difficult decision to make, especially when it's so close to when I would be going, but I feel like I need to be at home at this time. So I would appreciate your prayers for myself and my family, and especially for my sister Marilyn, as we all go through this together. My sister is very strong, and she's very confident. When she went to the doctor last week, she was sure that they would tell her that she would have cancer. And they couldn't tell her that. And she sees this, that God is working, and that he is healing her. Would you continue to pray for her healing and God's will to be done? Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie, so much for the story.